evening. Hello, everybody. I'm here. I'm joined by Jerry. Hello.
Hello.
And we are going to look at some of your lovely people's projects. If the software will do us any favors. As you can see, Jerry is brightened again.
Nobody knows why, nobody knows how.
And we won't ask any questions, but please stay functioning.
Lorna's posted a new pic, he says. So if we hit refresh now, we'll actually see this is his project we're in.
We will see a new picture. Okay, so I'm trying to...
If it goes badly wrong...
If it's a mutinous tootness, I'm blaming Justin.
And we're still oldest entries first. That's okay.
By the way, did I hear correctly? Justin's birthday today?
It is. It's his birthday. He's still a millennial. So I'm not sure how that works.
Happy birthday from me, Justin, in case you're dropping by or getting...
I imagine he will be. He normally pops in to check out what's happening in the... No, I'm lying. He's never in Discord or on any of these streams. Don't worry about it. I brought some brown lemonade, though, just because people were so confused as to what brown lemonade was. It's brown and lemonade.
And I brought orange lemonade, just to keep it safe for the children.
I'm trying to be good and not drink midweek at the moment, because I would drink every day. All day, every day. So anyway, yes.
Well, you've picked out the projects again, and we are starting with Lorna, who did something half a lady, as I see.
He has his cheeky attempt at winning the first spring cleaning competition. It's a good idea, because last week you were saying there aren't any really whimsical, interesting, fun ones that we've really come across. Everything for the spring clean challenge has been a new unit for my army, a new army for my game,
and mostly 40k and
yeah. So we've not been seeing anything particularly out of the box or whimsical, and this one is just absolutely gorgeous. So it's a broken toed, I want to say busty lady, but I don't think that's actually her name.
Busty would be a point of fire. It's a, I would say, normal sized, a realistic bust. Not front heavy.
And all the parts mounted on a Lorna brand hobby holder.
Yes, they're very.
I think I've got a Lorna brand hobby holder right here.
Somewhere.
Oh, there it is. Is it something like that? It does look pretty much like that.
Could be.
He does mention it comes from the dairy.
So the one in the middle looks like one we have on our cleaning detergent for the clothes. Well, see how this went. Flash.
Will we ever stock Steinel Res Black Primer? I don't know if we'll ever stock it. Very few people do Badger stuff outside of the world of Badger.
Flesh tone, my enemy. I just can't get it to work to save my life. It's just impossible to do. That's why I like the Imperials so much. White armor doesn't need skin.
That is true. But I do like the fact that he's included things like
the tutorial,
Monkey on Fire's tutorial, and where the two classes are, and it shows, because my God, that's an absolutely stunning bit of skin work that Monkey's done there. And as you see as we go on, because there's a fair amount of work done in this tutorial already anyway.
Yes.
I'm presuming we're not going to hit the bottom and it's going to be finished.
Lorna, what size is that bust? It doesn't look that big. 5 centimeters, maybe 2 inches from hip to head. 70 overall. Wasn't so bad with that. And shades, and even more shades. Even if I were to follow these step by step, I reckon I wouldn't get nearly as close as a result. I'm just too impatient.
Have you ever tried using greens to shade flesh, Lorna? Because it's an interesting technique. Because if you ever look at people's skin, it's not a pink color because you've got the veins and the like underneath. And green gives it quite interesting contrast, but you've got a very thin line between interesting contrast and The Walking Dead.
I just thought it would look a bit orky, maybe. I've seen people doing it with the with some violet colors underneath.
Yeah, violets work too. There's nice. That's actually for fantasy creatures, but it gives a nice set of violets and greens. The Malefic flesh set.
I think that that set you had on with you with One Weekender.
Did I?
Some ages ago. I think,
or
at least you have told about them.
I had to, yeah. I'd certainly have been told about it, but that's quite nice because it's an interesting set if you're doing mythical creatures anyway. But the greens and the violets can be used for skin tone on regular people. But I have to say, I'm blown away by the work that's gone into this.
This is going to get really long. If the scroll bar is any indication. Oh, that's a sudden jump from,
isn't it? Yeah.
Skin to much more color.
Oh yeah, and once you start getting the rest of the clothes on there, it really makes the work on the skin stand out that much more.
Yeah, this is an awesome work. I think this is a contestant for one of the higher ups. I would say, in my humble opinion.
It's certainly right up there for tutorial anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of work going into it. Yeah, well, it's just stunning.
This is.
Trousers, shirt, and apron. I'm smashing buttons as I go. Don't mind me.
No, you do you. I'll do that later. Otherwise, I won't be finished anyway.
The privacy of your own house. Yeah. The Andrea colours, I've often seen them, but I've never managed to pick any of them up.
Those here?
They look.
Which one?
No, just the Andrea paint line. There's that many different paint lines out there. I'm quite happy with Vallejo, and occasionally I dip into other things, but I think it's one of those when you find them, one that you like, stick with it and don't jump around so much.
When I restarted painting, I started with Vallejo 2 and liked them very much, mainly because they were so fluid. You didn't need to thin them that much. But since my local game store is back into miniature supplies, I'm on Army Painter, mainly because of the colored primers. Those are gold.
They are very handy.
Especially if you're painting quantities of stormtroopers or Imperial vehicles, just Imperial Grey, done. This is a really nice looking...
Oh, it's coming along at pace.
Nearly finished, I'd say.
Straps. So you've gone for a brown wash. Interesting.
Very nice.
I came on painting Buddha a while ago. Did a very good leather tutorial. They didn't do it specifically as a tutorial, but it was part of painting a Lagatha bust from Vikings, where they used army painter washes with calligraphy ink, so very high pigment sepia calligraphy ink, and applied it over a zenith highlight. So you do the zenith, then you paint in any little chips, abrasions, cracking that you would get on leather, and then you just start layering it, let it dry, layer it more, let it dry. If you want it in the recesses, just put it in the recesses. Very thin glazes, and it comes up a treat. And the way he's done the gloves there is very similar to it. I'd say if you do a bit more of the chipping and weathering and cracking on it beforehand with the zenith, you could actually cut out some of your highlight steps at the end. But you do get that gloss leather finish.
They look like real used leather with a bit dents and edges.
And a nice shade when you're finishing off leather is green. So green shades, green washes sort of stippled on into the recesses. It comes out probably because of the brown, reddish brown in stained leather. Comes up very nicely. But yeah.
By the way, people in the chat, let me know, is the audio level better this time or worse than last time? Because I think Limburger was saying it was a bit silent on my part.
I think last time, though, you were muted for the first 5 minutes.
Yes,
so
besides
you're
that.
better than that anyway. But yes, well done, Lorna, for your brisket bust.
So, next up, we have Dovahkiin.
Yeah, this is a very short one. I'll pop it in here anyway for people to have a look at. I say it's very short. It is only one entry long.
It's literally a video.
and it is a video of his Twitch stream. So it's a bit of a shame because he finished it and some still pictures would have been nice from Dane. But if you're interested, it is worth hammering right to the end of that, to when he starts doing some of the spin rounds and stuff. About 17 minutes or so.
I see. Yeah, this looks very nice.
Yeah. So he did it in the space of one, I don't know if it's one stream or if it's been cut together. But it was mostly done with contrasts to get the base colours and the shades and that sort of thing done very quickly, and then went in with traditional paints afterwards to pick out specific points of interest, that sort of thing. Do what contrasts can't, essentially.
That's another system that's caught my eye, but since I'm already too way deep into other systems, I don't think I will jump into Skyrim unless I get some bargain on it somewhere.
I'm not sure when it's due to come out either. I know we've been sitting on 2 or 3 boxes since before the quarantine, because all of the models in it are multi-part plastic, hard plastics.
I think it was due for April
so
originally, and then but if you just shut down.
Well, this week would have been Salute Week, so a lot of stuff from UK companies would have come out this week.
Yeah, so probably.
So it may still.
I think they will use the time and put up some stock, not unlike last time when they had multiple orders in a Bremen store for Fallout and couldn't deliver.
Well,
11 pre-orders, I think 3 or 4 were delivered, so that's a not good ratio to establish a new brand.
No, that really isn't. That's a little bit wee.
Yeah, people were a bit sour, to say the least.
I can imagine so. So yeah, short and sweet. See how I bring balance back there, Pan Dancer. For every log entry, there's a short, snappy one.
Yes, so we go for Collins Does D&D 5th edition.
If you're following along at home, kids, that's the link.
So we have artwork that is not his, so it doesn't count towards spring cleaning.
Well, it partly doesn't. However, this is artwork of the group that he's part of, and it's also how he's decided to paint up some of the stuff. So we're going to see the barbarian with this unusual greenish skin, and I assume it's might be half orc, who knows, but the green tribal tattoos on it as well as part of the actual
Goliath fighter, whatever a Goliath is.
I don't know. I haven't played D&D since it was D&D many moons ago.
I haven't played it ever. But I think that's a rather German problem, because Das Schwarze Auge, Black Eye, is very, very popular.
Don't even mention it. I've already backed the Kickstarter and I'm looking at it going, I could probably get a few extra units of undead. That would be handy.
I saw the launch mail and I was like, no, please, Westphalia, don't.
I was so good. It's funded already.
When he did the cover minis from the starter box, I was so mad that they were out of my price range. They look so good. But on the other hand, I probably wouldn't do them justice by painting. So,
if you're lucky, maybe Father Christmas will bring you something. I do like the masterpiece loadings.
Yeah,
so there's some more artwork coming for the other members of the group.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, that appeals to me.
Green scaffolding.
So this was Gore the Barbarian that's I think is still sitting on the Otter store as a freebie if people do that printing nonsense.
So well, I would if I could afford a printer.
Yeah. No, I just wouldn't. Even if I looked at it and went, oh, well, if I don't back this Kickstarter this month, I could buy a printer and then start playing with it. Nah, it's just not for me. But yeah, so that's the cleaned-ish, or at least unscaffolded Gore the Barbarian. And then primed and highlighted Zenith. And I think, if memory serves, Collins was at the Star Wars Legion boot camp, and he bought a file from someone and got Warren or Justin to print it for him, literally, so he could go, is it worthwhile getting a 3D printer? Here's a USB with a file I've paid cash money for. I don't even have a printer yet. Can you print that? Oh, you can't. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, I'm going to buy. So he's only had a 3D printer since post the Star Wars boot camp. Well, apparently he's doing quite rightly with it.
That's 6 months away now, so time flies. But he did a fine paint job on it. Yeah,
and you can see what the green on green tattooing to match his
the flaming red
bar
cape is nice.
It's very punchy.
Oh,
it detracts from the ginger in his mutton chops and hair. I'm not sure why he's wearing a lampshade on his head.
Protection from UV light.
Possibly. If you have to lamp somebody in combat again.
He's not the brightest one in the shed.
Oh, that's very harsh. Very harsh. I like the gem work on the neck piece on the torque. There's a nice green gem. Yeah. Although, considering his skin is green and his tattoos are green, I probably would have went for like a ruby there, just to break it up a bit.
Yeah.
But that's me.
But on the other hand, the greens were already mixed and could be used very easily.
Well, why did you use that color there? Well, it was on my palette.
Yes. So simplest reason ever.
Yeah. So that's nice. It'll be interesting to see what he does for the other. I imagine he's probably going to go hunting through 3D files for the other members of the Vagabond gang.
The picture, the original Aldor Slilsword Tribogari didn't have any beard, didn't have any cape, so he took some liberties with a mini.
Yeah, but when you look at the liberties he's taken, the cape has a very distinct flame and it matches the same colour as his. I'm assuming that's a sweat rag for wiping blood and sweat off himself after he's killed people.
A multi-use toilet paper.
Yeah, so he's taken the multi-use toilet paper, red, yellow, red, and used that as the inspiration for the colour scheme on the cape because it follows the same patterning. So, yeah.
I was just wondering because the third one, the half-elf barbarian, has a very tiny axe in her hand.
It could be a throwing axe. Who knows?
Even then, it's very tiny. I would think that is some perspective lost on it. Maybe she gets a bit of a bigger axe.
It will be an axe when it grows up.
Water it regularly.
Always know where your towel is. That is true. We're not quite towel day yet, but we're heading there.
Next.
Yes.
Riders of Rohan.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a rider without a horse.
Yeah, he's a walker of Rohan. So,
did he get kicked in the nuts?
Probably. I find it best not to ask. So this is Silver Fox from the States. He's only just been able to unpack his hobby stuff recently after a move. So I think the last time he did hobby was about July. He was at Historicon playing in the Lord of the Rings tournament then. And then after that, everything's been put away while the house was packed up and then moved and then unpacked and sorted. So it's nice to see him getting back into the groove.
Yeah.
Those are the plastics, I believe.
And another one down from the horse.
Or
is it the same? Just a previous state?
I believe it's the same one. It is
yes, it is.
Royal Guard, I think they are.
Erkenbrand Red Shields.
If you say so.
It says in the title.
Well, you know, don't believe everything you read.
But it's on the internet, so it must be true.
Some dude on YouTube does not count as a valid fact.
I am some dude on YouTube, and I say so.
Shouldn't listen to him.
Never listen to old men ramble around.
Going with an old fantasy high-off banner, but not sure what decal to put on it. I imagine something slightly Viking or Saxony would probably be ideal there. There's a lot of dragon heads stuff kicking around for Rohan.
They always struck me as a sort of Celtic influenced.
I remember when they first came out, we looked at them and went, "Oh, they'd be perfect for Warhammer Ancient Battles as Saxons."
Oh, there's one already finished, and the others.
Others work in progress.
2, maybe.
Yeah, I imagine they will be. With military precision, he'll be in there, knocking those out of the park. But for now, that's just the sort of starting area.
It's a good jumping point.
Yeah.
Could do worse. Could need to strip them first and then paint them.
Well, depends how you feel. I try and avoid stripping anything these days. I just don't paint them to begin with.
Saves a lot of work and money.
Really does. Oh, you wouldn't believe how much it saves.
Next up, Hero Quest.
Yes, this is a fella called Laughing Boy.
I may have heard of him. I don't know where and why. Sounds familiar. But that game is one that's on my watch list on eBay. If I should ever have the luck to get a copy for a price that isn't
excessive, yeah.
An insult to anybody.
These days, the price they go for, it's almost cheaper to buy. Boris has sculpted a set for somebody. I think it's Lichmeyer Dungeon, and those would be expensive boutique versions until you see the price that the old plastic versions go for, and you go, at this stage, it's cheaper to buy the new ones.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for some local flea market, like with my Space Quest, where I got the complete box for 20 euros.
Well, he's broke out everything. And he is obviously twitching it as well.
Don't put a number on it; it will be devastating.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even.
That's basically your insurance for retirement. If you're ever low on cash, sell it. You're good for another month or two.
It's like my Dogs of War. But yeah, and this one, obviously, if people follow Laughing Boy on Twitch, they'll have seen a lot of this getting worked on, because he's been fairly proactive in getting through these as quickly as he can get them undercoated and under camera. Very much at home with contrast and dry brushing for a lot of it.
Do you happen to know when exactly that game came out? Was that 83, 84?
No, it was later than that. 87 or 88. Yeah, I think. And then Space Crusade came a year after, I think.
But still, that's 33 plus years in the making. And those minis did look good for the time. And I think for a board game, they still hold up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much so.
Have you ever seen the first minis of Mice and Mystic? First release?
No, I don't think I have.
If you ever will, you know what I mean. Those look awful. They did a second run and retooled the complete minis. Way better now.
It's nice to
Mummy.
See. Yes.
A bit of grey, a bit of white, and some snottling snot.
Yeah, well, you need to have that greeny Boris Karloff-like skin for your mummies.
I just love the orc. This is...
I'd say a lot of them, especially the zombie and the skeleton, still stand up massively to this day.
I think that's mainly because the main features of these minis is so unique and such everybody has copied it in some way. Be it the pose or just the look on the face. I mean, just look at that goblin grinning at the animate's face.
He is very happy in his work.
Doing chop chop.
Yeah, I can't actually think of another board game or family board game that predates it touch. Because prior to this, it would have been either role-playing games or full tabletop games. I'm sure there must have been. It couldn't have just come out of nowhere. It was made in conjunction with a big board game company. I think it was Milton Bradley made and retailed it, and GW just essentially came up with the game and the miniatures for them.
Didn't they?
Axis and Allies would be, yeah.
Wasn't that the same time when Dark Tower was released? The era? Mid-80s?
I'm not sure. I can't remember the Dark Tower the first time round. It must have passed me by.
I only remember looking at it in catalogs due Christmas time and going, oh, I need that. I never got it. And I was so furious when I saw how expensive the new version was.
Weirdly, same company, Milton Bradley, 1981, the Dark Tower. So
Milton Bradley did a lot of games in that time.
Almost a decade between them. I don't remember Shogun the game, but I do know it existed because Shogun Total War was essentially based on it.
I remember a Shogun game, but that was a totally different one. Most people don't associate with the name. It's sort of like when you play Dame, these little round pieces, but in square form, and they had magnets in it. So when you set the piece from one place to another, the dial in it turned to a random number.
Oh.
It was a very weird concept. It was also called Shogun.
Interesting. So we're almost at the end of Martin's first day, apparently.
Just look at this.
Day one, furniture done, and
if you think the game would have come into the stores looking like that, even if it only were the display piece and the models were still supplied unpainted, I think if they had this in the showroom,
yeah,
the kids would have gone mad.
Very much so. And then that's his test color schemes, presumably. So after that, he used his Easter weekend to do a bit more of a hobby hangout and try and get bulk zombies and bulk skeletons done now that he knows how to do them.
Skellies. A lot of them.
that shows exactly what those paints are for. Getting a lot of stuff to a decent standard and onto the board painted as quickly as you possibly can.
And with the old minis, there's not so much detail you could actually highlight, so...
Yeah. I just need to get in there and paint the flagstones on. Or actually, I've seen somebody do it just with a marker pen. Just draw crazy paving on all the flagstones so they're not just solid grey.
Next one, then, will be by Fraxter. Infinity Red Veil.
Infinity and Beyond.
So we have tools.
Yes, I think when I looked at this a week ago or so, that was all that was there.
A set of tools.
A set of tools and then the based miniatures. But it's quite nice as to how he's decided to base them, because essentially they're walking down a road. So on the far left, you've got the footpath, pavement, and then it goes down to the asphalt. And then you've got asphalt, and then on the far side, and then on the far side, you've got the other side, the other pavement. So the curbstone and then some flagstones. So when all lined up, you get this idea that they're walking down a road, which is nice.
Would make for a nice display piece if you put it in some sort of mini diorama.
Yeah.
Like people do for their Blood Bowl teams.
Yeah, exactly. And with Infinity you can, because it's such a relatively small model count, if you want it to be.
Oh, he did some more.
And Hu Ching, super, fantastic, great. So that was, I believe, where we'd seen it, or where I'd seen it last time anyway. But now he's actually got on to starting to prime and get some colours down.
Seems like he's a big Vallejo colored friend.
Mm.
Yeah. Or every brand of Vallejo you can see.
You know, it's the way to do it. So he's
oh no, they are Citadel.
breaking out the airbrush and getting the base colours down. I quite like this as well, because he's got this, apart from explaining how he's doing it, because I still struggle with airbrushing, but he's using the fact that you can zenith and then airbrush to get a nice gradient and a lot of colour down quickly on the two factions, because every faction really in Infinity has a very distinctive colour scheme if you want to follow it. So it's a great way of getting the detail on that armour quickly.
I think there are too many people on Beasts of War. Can't get the big pictures. It's just grinding to a halt here.
I blame everybody else.
Damn kids blocking the tubes. And that's the state of the current project.
Yeah, so that shows you pretty much what you can do with not a huge amount of effort because of airbrushing. You can get that nice gradient, you can get the shadow and detail on there, and then just give it a little bit of an additional highlight and then start blocking in other colours. I quite like the red skin tone he's going for the nomads with as well, whether that's going to be Indian or Native American or he's just gone for a more tanned skin tone.
We may see that next week. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Hopefully. He also I think says he tried a paint scheme and it just doesn't work, so he's actually going to go back. It's too close and clashes too much with the armor, so he's going to go back and use the actual box artwork version of some of the packs and stuff that they've gone with just for reference. And that's, sometimes you'll hit that where you go, I want to do my own color scheme, and then you do it and you go, this doesn't work. I see why they've went with their color scheme now.
This looks awful. Why didn't anybody tell me?
Green and grey and everything's blurred together, and well, c'est la vie. But
yeah,
nice
nothing
work.
A good spray of undercoat could save. Oh, Spud.
Spud cheated here. This one I think is completed.
He cheated because he did it last year, or just...
No, he did it all and then posted it up in the space of a day. So he spent time doing all the bits and bobs, and it was like, I'm not going to spend time blogging in between. The clever man.
Well, I wouldn't call that cheating. Maybe lazy, but not cheating.
Oh. So, these are his space puppies.
Smurfs.
With choices of doors.
That's a lot of plastic.
A lot of the models have been used in previous armies and were stripped before starting. So...
Did anybody tell him that he just could paint over other people's paint jobs? I'm sure nobody would mind.
Depends how heavy it is. I've got a set of Lehman Rust that I really should strip back, because you can practically... The kid who had them before me, it looked like he dubbed it on with his fingers. It's thick. It's so thick.
Well, if you
can't
color that again, you may just make Chaos version of it and say it's Nurgle. It's rot.
don't want Chaos. That would be terrible. Chaos is terrible.
I wouldn't know. I don't play 40k. I just like the orcs. That's all.
But you can see, obviously, the one on the left has had the weathering and stuff done on the Predator, and that's just been airbrushed on, which is delightfully quick. It gives you that sort of dusty base compared to the very clean, old Space Wolf grey styly beside him. But he got through these as a veritable, well, I say rid of knots. Maybe he started them 3 weeks ago at the start of the Sprinkling Challenge, and because he only updated it on Friday, we don't really know. Or Saturday, rather.
I wonder, because of the year counts, maybe this is a very long-going project and he's just finished.
Could be. I really like, you can see in the background, the masking tape on that dozer blade for the Demolisher, or on those 2 dozer blades for the Demolishers. I imagine it's yellow and black at the end anyway, but it's practically there to begin with.
Yeah, it
there
is.
There we are.
It's a bit blurry.
There are crisper pictures elsewhere in the work in progress bit.
But he did something for storage too. This picture will be getting loaded anytime soon. Yeah, there's a strip one appearing slowly from the right. That looks new.
And there's 2 others that have been stripped as well, or 3 others that have been stripped rather. So it's a mixed bag, a Galvy bucket, as we would say in the trade. Oh, he's got the same seam line scraper as I have. I'm not entirely certain where it is currently.
If luck has anything to do with it, it's in the studio.
No, I wouldn't go in the studio. I try and avoid taking my tools in the studio, because then I forget them and then I don't have anything to use at home. Oh, there it is there. It's practically a lethal weapon. It's just a little stabby thing. It's triangular, so wounds won't close when you stab someone up. I assume that's what they made them like that for.
Now I see what you mean.
Yes. Beautiful.
That's a lot of plastic.
It all really is. There's a lovely, because he's finished it all. He catalogues it on the last one. So 2 Predators with Forge World additional armor, 2 Vindicators, a Whirlwind/Razorback, a Rhino/Razorback, 2 Rhino/Razorback with Forge World extra plates, 2 more Rhinos with extra plates, side doors, dozer blades, removable storm bolters for the Rhinos, so that's nice. Some Razorback turrets, sets of doors with transfers for each of his squads, homemade transfers for the doors, and great company markings. And when you see them all laid out on the very last picture,
yeah, that's quite a sight. I wonder what he wants to name them before 2025.
He started this in 2009, so it's only taken him 11 years to get this far. So he reckons he could speed through and name them in only 5.
Well, you could do that a lot quicker if he'd use an online name generator.
And he's only got 8 to name because 2 of the other ones don't have scrolls on them. But I like the obviously you've got the spare doors in front, and that's for whenever he wants to swap things out from being Razorbacks to just being standard Rhinos. He can just flip the gun off and stick just a door on top.
Or maybe he has some inside knowledge, and after 2025, GW stops supporting Rhinos as they are too small for the Astartes Primaris.
That's true. They could just run about like the Flintstones car. Just all get in, push their feet through the floor, pick it up, and just run with it.
Well, why do I have pictures of that orc commando in my head now? I don't know who did it, but these 8 orcs, when you put them next to each other, they look like a badly shaped rhino.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, sometimes I saw that. I think I was at Beast of War, but I couldn't remember. Just looked totally bonkers. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. A lot of armor. That's what it's all about. Getting the little bleeders out and getting them.
I think this would get the seal of approval from John.
Well, Space Wolves, though. I don't know if he's a big fan of the Space Puppies.
Yeah, if you can look past the odd, maybe. So, very nice.
Very
What's
nice.
next in store?
Well, if you like that, then you'll love this.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. This is how to paint orange skin. Don't know why. What?
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is great.
So last year I seen this Kickstarter. In fact, I may have even made a news article about it. Because he's done a couple of these rude miniatures, and he decided to make your miniature collection great again, which had, it's meant to be a Trump and a little Trump. I like to think of it as Trump the Ogre and then Boris Johnson the Goblin.
Yeah,
however,
pretty much.
They do look fantastic. God knows what Simon's planning on using these for, possibly Frostgrave, possibly just to paint them up. But this is a step-by-step of how he's going to do his orange skin, which makes perfect sense because, you know...
Couldn't they be used in Saga?
It could be used in Saga, for example.
Well, that's all, just the skin of the little one.
This is just his test before he goes on to do the big one. Donald. The Donald. They are delightful miniatures.
This is just great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a huge fan. I do like how he's done the skin.
The nipple piercing from the Donald.
It's you know, it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
I approve.
Well, can't wait to see how he does the hair on them to try and get it sort of that candy floss piss sort of effect going on. Maybe he'll static grass it.
That could be quite challenging. I think the next one will be a letdown now after this highlight. But we'll give it a go. It's Robert.
This is specifically for Justin because it's his birthday.
Free floating free man.
This is probably what I'm going to be facing in Clash of Spears whenever the Great Lockdown ends. Willies as far as the eye can see. All of the Willies.
And all named William, just for shits and giggles.
Giggly shits, my favourite kind. So this was Robert's weekend of work.
If you play against Robert with this game, you need to have Justin with you to make him a recording of this. Just to see how uncomfortable he gets. Maybe add 1 or 2 mutinous tutinous as a display piece in there too.
That's obviously how you turn the Clash of Spears ancient Celts here into a Saga Age of Magic force. You just add in a couple of squads of mutinous tutinous running about with them to act as some form of terrible cavalry. Just terrible cavalry. I like that very front one who's absolutely bathed in blood.
Maybe if you don't use the mutinous tutinous in the cavalry size, but it's smaller and similar to the squigs that were used in Warhammer Fantasy. So one herder in the back poking them with a stick,
them forward,
poking them in the balls.
Actually, I was just about to say that, Dutch. If you ran them as a wolf pack, the same way the Irish have them in Saga, then you could, because it would be one guy plus 7 rampant mutinous tutinous running about the place. You would want to put all your time in shooting them off the table before they get close.
Don't let them get to you.
No.
They spit venom.
They'll blind you. They'll have your eye out.
Always wear protection kits. This is great.
Now, if any of you happen to see Robert in your travels on Discord or across the site, he painted that cloak, he did it that lovely yellow, and then went, I'm going to do tartan on that, or at least a plaid.
And he didn't.
And then he went, I'm not doing it now. So you should all give him a gentle poke and go, come on, Robert, test yourself.
Do it.
Do it. Give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Because I think, because it's a flat yellow and he's mostly skin, it's almost monotone. Whereas if it was broken up with black or green checks on it. Just, yellow cloak, black lines, and green squares or light blue squares. Just something just to make it pop a little. That would have been ideal, but hey ho. Kind of everything. He ignores me, that's why I can't tell him.
Yeah, I wonder why.
They are... Oh, I can't remember where he got them from. He did tell me. I don't think they're Old Glory, though. I think they may be Warlord.
Yeah, Warlord Games Naked Fanatics.
Yeah, all right, there you go. It says at the start. Well
Warlord
done,
resin models Reese as Skyclad warriors for SPQR.
Specure. It's pronounced Specure.
SPQR.
That is perfect. Toros, just exactly like that.
I love it when people do as you say.
Yeah.
Oh, he has still another 20 to 25 to paint. That's a lot of dongs.
It is, swinging in the breeze.
Yeah.
Maybe
Let's
I'll start to mix things up a bit and static grass some of their ball sacks and stuff just to keep themselves interested.
Some clean shaved, some not so clean shaved.
Yeah. This one I've included solely for you because I know how much you like it.
Yeah, this is... I would be lying if I said I haven't been playing Fallout 4 for the last 2 weeks. Several hours a day.
This project that I've just linked there, kids, is stunning because that obviously you always see a nice picture generally as the lead into a project, but this is the whole way through, and then towards the end you get shots like that for every shot is staged. The work that's gone in there is just insane. So this is Dark Danigan. I can't remember how he told me to pronounce it once. I was going to call him Dan.
It's a Dark Dane, so... These minis,
yeah.
did he the right way did get them from? The cars?
I don't think he has. Not that I've noticed. It could be because I know Modiphius have done some resin stuff for it, so they could have been specifically for that.
Or have you seen the Modiphius Vault set they did?
Yes.
STL files? Those are very tempting. I don't have a printer, but I've been playing this game and building my vault ever since, basically because it's Lego, and seen these 3D printed files for the same vault I'm building in a computer game, now having the ability to build in real life.
Well, it's the way the future. Warren and Justin keep telling me. I'm going to, resist it as much as the Catholic Church resisted geocentrism being changed. I'm just going to stalwart. Everything goes around the earth. That's how it goes. Likewise, everything gets delivered to me, produced by somebody else. That's how it goes.
Well, to be fair, Warren gets most of his armies painted, so...
He does. He gets most of them painted, and then anything he has to print out, he gets Justin to print out as well, so he doesn't even have to do that.
And then there's the basing. What did he do? Rebase all his fantasy miniatures on what base version? And
they're like they start at like 32 mil and then just go up and up and up and up and up.
I thought I heard him cry when there were rumors about Warhammer Fantasy Battle coming back.
That's okay. I don't think any of us will be near that anyway. I can't imagine GW sending us a set.
Would be a nice surprise.
It would fucking shock me.
See this? You can't have this. You can't have this.
Defibrillator on standby. Some nice sponge chipping on those cars. Those cars have come up a treat.
Yeah. This is one project I did see earlier, mainly because Fallout was on my watch list. And I really liked the ones he did before. And this is just... They look like in the game.
Yeah.
Except the glitches. Which is good, okay, I think. These look really nice. And if these are 3D printed, I can't see any lines. not at all.
Mm.
So I think they are produced by Modifius.
Well, they could be 3D printed by one of those resin things instead of one of the steppy step things. But I think it is. I'm going to be nosy now and just go to their Fallouty shop and see. Just while I'm on another screen. Don't mind me, kids.
Those
blah, blah, blah.
those pieces there just look too clean and too official to be random made by somebody else on the internet through Thingiverse or something.
Probably.
Yes, Toros, the work of the devil. 3D
it really
printing.
is. It really is.
But so is heavy metal, and I like that very much. Thank you.
Yes, they are straight from Modifius. Oh,
yeah, I thought
Jesus.
I saw.
Sorry,
the
I've
price tag.
I've just seen the price. Yeah,
yeah don't look at that. Don't.
For those of you playing along at home.
And he also did some very stunning paint jobs on the minis he's using for the display photos on the last end.
Yeah. I mean, that...
You
could see that being an actual shot from inside, a Modifius book.
Yeah.
You could see that as being
say, if I had to bet on it, I would say he's a day one supporter of the game and has done a lot of demoing.
Mm.
And just look at that big green hunkin' Titan in the back. That piece alone is enormous.
Yeah, it looks great. I know nothing about it beyond the fact it's something to do with bottle caps.
Yeah, that's the currency of the future.
But we know that it's toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper will rot away over 200 years, but bottle caps will remain. And there's actually a story behind the thing with the bottle caps, if I remember correctly. It was mainly because pure water after the big war was hard to come by, and the only clean water you could get was from bottled water. So originally it was bottled water as a currency, but when that dried up, the caps became the currency, because it was more convenient to carry out some caps and not heavy bottles of water.
The same as collecting people's ears instead of bringing the whole heads back.
True.
It's just space saving. We've all been there.
Let's move on. So
because I know you're a fan.
Crazy Red Coat finally finishing an army.
He says that. Now, he hasn't finished it yet, so don't worry, there's still time for him to flake out and not.
Are armies anytime finished? Especially with 40k, you can build them up as much as you like, I think. Or has GW put a limit on it?
Oh, no. They took all the limits away in case it stopped people buying stuff. Armies are like art, aren't they? They're never completed, they're just abandoned.
In a state of transition.
So, he's doing Ultra Smurfs.
And an apothecary. Oh, I see a hair.
Or
spider webs? Or maybe some glue residue?
Oh, between the thing and the thing?
Yeah, the shoulder-mounted thingamabobs. The big tooth drill and the lighting.
Or you can zoom in again. That's a super big picture. I'm going to say it's a hair. There's certainly a hair there. Towards the back, that could be spiderweb or glue strand, but coming down from the front, big ejection thing, that's
pubes.
That is a pube. It's a pretty pube.
There's no way around it.
But he's working on his command squad, and then into his. What are we going here? There are only a few troop options. So he's going for intercessors.
The interceptors are models I I just can't get with
They're missing their
the flight stands.
flight stand.
Yeah, but still with the flight stand attached, they look somehow weird. To me, at least.
It's because they're bouncing. Do you ever remember in the, I want to say, early 90s, there was possibly the late 80s, they were called moon boots.
Oh, God, yeah.
They were like platforms
Yeah.
with a trampoline that made you... That's what they're wearing.
I had those for winter. Terrible stuff.
I imagine so.
Worse when they got wet, because there was no way in hell that when you went to school and got your feet wet, that they were dry when you were on the back home.
Oh no, not real boot type boots. There was a set of. They may not have been called moon boots. I think they were called that, but they were literally trampolines that strapped to your foot. So they were about, I'm going to say about 20 centimeters deep, with a trampoline in the middle, and then you strapped them on. So every time you walked, your foot went down and bounced up again. So you bounced along as if you were walking on the moon,
simulating the moonwalk.
Yeah, and that's what they're kicking around in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe had a drink or two.
Yeah, but yes, they're a weird bunch.
And another tank.
A Predator.
What strikes me is the difference in quality of the photos. Some, like the earlier ones here from this squad, are very crisp and clean, and then you get the.
But if you look at the other picture of the squad immediately beside that one,
yeah, that's looked weird too.
Yeah. So somewhere, I think some were done in natural light, and other ones were done under a table lamp.
Or maybe shot, that professional shot, is just inspiration from a pro painter and not his own.
Let me look at their faces.
Conspiracy theory, because they look similar, but not at least
similar, but not
very the same. Much the same. So. Trying to find some.
We'll never know for that one.
I would be hard pressed to say that's the same. It's definitely not the same minis.
It's not the same models.
No, not the same squad.
Well, maybe we can find out through the medium of poking them with sticks.
With pointy sticks.
Pointy sticks.
And more shots. Marksman joined the fray.
Smith. I like his old school black rim bases. I'm a fan.
If they were old school, wouldn't they have to be goblin green?
Oh, well, there was a certain delineation. Everything was goblin green, sides, top, everything. And then people went, that doesn't look great. Let's start moving into this.
The one miniature painter from GW who had his own YouTube channel closed, what's his name? Mark Latham?
Yes.
He did one video of a classic sculpt, and he literally did so. And now we do the rim in goblin green. And he pulled out this old Citadel paint pot with goblin green.
Did GW shut his channel down?
He never really told. He just said, this is the last video, and I will delete the channel in about, I think, 40 days or something. Rumor is widespread, but I think except himself, nobody will truly know.
Yeah.
He did really good videos. It was a shame that it's left. But maybe they had some problems after Two Coat Duncan did his academy.
Hilarious.
Oh, and he did a big fighty boy.
He did, but before that, the two agents, the Imperium agents, are also on the same table as above.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it is just a light issue where the light is softer in daylight. So we're not getting that harsh.
Shows again, lighting is the thing that kills your miniature photography. Maybe it would be sufficient if he would stop using the flashlight and just use a lamp, because that's what I've found for myself. That's using a flashlight and that close distance is just it doesn't work.
There's a really good tutorial by Juan Hidalgo, which I will actually, because I have it saved, so I'll link it into the chat, and it's just about taking pictures. Now, he does talk about SLR cameras and apertures and stuff, which I have a little digital camera that doesn't do most of that, but it does do some things like ISO. I have no idea what ISO means. But he was going, you should have this as low as you can, about 80. If you can get the 80, 80's great, do that. I'm going, okay, smashing. I have no idea why. So I started playing with some of the settings, but he does mention all the settings, including a basic setup with a couple of lamps and diffusing the light and that sort of thing. And he even gives links to some nice backgrounds you can print at home for the background shots off a site. So where have I put it? There it is there. Boosh. Copy that.
ISO, how sensitive the film is. Yeah.
If you say so. Anyway, that's Juan's ultimate guide to simple miniature photography, if you're interested in taking better pictures than me.
Simple being a relative term.
Yeah. Oh, he literally goes, this number should be low, this number should be high, this number you're going to have to play with. And if you don't have those settings on your thing, if you're just using a camera phone, then, just have these lamps here and a background. And here's the same picture with the semi-expensive SLR, and then here's the picture with my camera phone, and there you go. Lighting's done most of the work for the camera phone. So, good.
Then we end with a light shot on the Dreadnought.
A Lloyd shot. Best shot.
Best way to end with the end.
Always.
Next up, 40k. Some more? Yes.
Or gribbly things.
That's a jolly bugger. Literally. Smiling at the camera.
Yes. Death guards.
He looks nice. I would take candy from him.
Why would you not? You should take candy from anyone who offers you candy.
Free candy is free candy.
Very much so.
Oh, big picture. Mistake. Bear with me.
I'm just having more brown lemonade.
Fizzy.
It is. And it's right beside the mic, so I'm sure everybody will hear that.
Well, I hear it, so chances are everybody else hears it.
Good stuff. I quite like Deadhead's project here for a couple of reasons. One, he does things in nice big chunky batches. And two, he gives quite a comprehensive colour palette for people who want to try and follow along at home. So it's just like batch painting, because I know we were discussing batch painting
last time, I think. Or that one before?
No, we were discussing it on Discord, I think actually in my house yesterday, where Gaz was going, he tried to start batch painting earlier in the day, and then about halfway through the day just went, no, it's not working, not doing it for me. We kind of got into it's because of your style of painting. If you like to paint a certain way, then batch painting just won't work. But if you're looking to hammer through and do stuff, you have to work on the principle that because you're going to batch paint, you're going to have to use a different style than you normally would, and the end result will not be the same. So you've got these sort of sliding scales of quality over time.
It's basically, if you're batch painting, you're saving a lot of time, especially if you're using.
Oh, Gaz is in the chat. Hi, Gaz.
Hello, Gaz. It broke him.
Yeah. So, and it's one of those things, because I was saying this to Lena yesterday. I keep getting stuff and going, I can do this and block color them and dip them and they'll be done. And then I start to clean up the miniature and then I prime them and I look at them and go, I want to put dip on this. Dip will fucking ruin it. but then it will get painted.
That's your problem there. You start to think. You don't want to think if you do batch painting.
Yeah. But yeah, Deadhead's quite happy with batch painting and seems to be working for him very well because he's been hammering through a variety of poxwalkers.
I would love to show the people, but it's so slow again. People are uploading so big pictures.
Oh yeah, clearly we have to make Pete stop somehow.
Or just add some kind of automation that reduces the file size a bit. But it would be a shame because the resolution is great. And they look really good.
Yeah. Well, what are you looking at? You're looking at that one.
I'm looking at some
oh my lord!
Nearly painted.
You've got right up there. Look at that guy at the front wearing his, I assume, ski mask. They are all delightfully happy chaps.
The one with the mask reminds me a bit of the guitar player from Mad Max.
Yes, it's probably the red pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit bloated, maybe, but
that's what happens after somebody found his body lying in the desert rotting for a few days.
Yeah, this is quite nice. And the list of paints used is quite extensive.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody is sitting at home going, oh, I really fancy doing those.
Good luck finding most of those paints.
Are they all old? Have they changed again? I know it's been a couple of days, so GW have almost undoubtedly changed their paint range.
I don't think he's only using GW paints. In one of the earlier pictures, you've seen some of the what they're called again. Not too readable. The brand that did the original Citadel paints.
Coat d'Arms?
Coat d'Arms, yeah. I think those are those pots.
Yeah, they might be the pots in the background, but everything is listed, with the exception maybe of purple ink, because that seems too simple to be a GW name. But everything else there is a GW paint color.
Not copyright protected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
It's nice. And he gets on and gets the second set done, so I think he's...
And he also finishes on Lloyd shots. That's very nice.
He does finish on Lloyd shots. You get 20 poxwalkers done, dusted, based in... what's that? 2 days? 3 days?
I say 3 days.
Which, you know, it's about half of Panzer to put speed there, but not everybody can be Panzer when it comes to knocking these things out, like 20 every 6 hours or something ridiculous.
Some people just do too much on a high standard. That is demotivating sometimes.
Hello, Radagast. Adrian. What's that? See how it works in a smaller scale. The batch painting you're doing, or the GW contrast, Pete? Because I think the GW contrasts in like 15 and 10 mil could be genius. They need to expand that range a bit, because for certain things you're going to be running into issues where the colors are off or odd, which would require you to mix your own. And at that point, that defeats the purpose if you're having to mix everything. But
do the Citadel paints mix well, the contrasts? Yeah. Or do they dilute somehow and create weird reactions?
No, they mix, but the problem is you have to go through and see. So I can't remember the names, but the violet is so heavily pigmented. I mean, like, fucking hell, holy shit, it's like black with a violet tint. You actually need to not water it down, because you need to use their medium, but you really shouldn't be painting with that straight out of the pot, whereas some of the other ones are so thin that you almost need to give them 2 or 3 coats to get the actual color to come through. So you could mix them, but you'd have to be very aware of how to mix them, or what ratios.
So the ratios differ a lot.
Yeah, you can't just go, this will at 1 coat of each paint. If you actually just took a stick and just did 1 coat of each on it, you'll see there's a very different contrast on them. Actually, don't do a stick because they're absorbent. Do a bit of sprue. Lloyd did it with a stick.
It didn't work out.
Got very confused why colours were different. It's like colours are different because it's all been soaked into your stick. Don't use sticks.
So, next up we have Blinky465, a vampire diorama. Before going into this project, I'm going to bet there is some kind of electric thingamajig in there doing blinky or rumbly noises. Am I correct?
I know he's lurking somewhere in the chat. He may or may not still be about. It's not started yet, so there's not a huge amount to see here. But yes, you are correct. There will be blinky things in there.
He said that his wife has to tape something for him, so he wanted to be here.
So really all we have for this is his inspiration, which comes from a YouTube video, which is that
speed diorama.
Female vampire that you see at the start.
The video he has linked.
Yeah. So that's the inspiration for what he's planning on doing, which will be using that floating vampire above, again from Titanforge. So he's going to build a diorama and will, through the use of clever motors, make his vampire fly.
Well, he wouldn't need motors, but simply magnets. There are kits for model building to do that, to let your planes fly on the display.
So I imagine he probably wants us to whiz around or something clever. Who knows? Blinky's there. Oh, hang on. Lights, no. Augmented reality, yep. You know how vampires don't have reflection? Ooh. Oh, a mirror with no reflection as well. You cheeky young man, you.
When I saw that just now for the first time, the first thing that came to my mind was the science project from Lisa Simpson's with the Betrayed Heart, with it going ba-dum, ba-dum, and the floors going.
I thought you were going to mention the time she built the perpetual motion machine. In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
No, it was the science project for the school, where the floor panels started rocking, and that was quite similar. Maybe because of the floors seen on the original diorama.
But that's even though it hasn't really started yet, he's just put a thing in. Considering these are monthly Blinky, yeah, I want to say they're monthly competitions, Titanforge runs. So it's nice to get in now and see this process, because if you've seen last week, then you've probably seen the cyberpunk-esque DeLorean with the cops, and that was kind of mental. Oh, you're skipping April, so this is going to be May. All right, so we're going to have a 2-month run-up. But but I'm hoping to see this in steps, so we don't just get right to the end, but we see the progression of it, and hopefully some of the terrible things that go wrong as well.
Exploding capacitors.
Well, the original DeLorean was going to be a Back to the Future DeLorean, and then it tested and didn't work. Isn't that right, Chris? Am I? I dimly remember there was something didn't work, so you went, sod the DeLorean, I'm going to go a different way, and then went for the cyberpunky finish. So I just like seeing people's journeys where sometimes they derail or dead end, and it's like, well, that was a beautiful idea of having a floating vampire. We're not doing it now. We're going to go another way. I need all of the nitrous.
That never happens, he says.
Never have.
No. Never happened to any of us. We're all planning straight ahead our projects and following through to the end.
Very much so. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely that.
Let's step on. Mythic Battles Pantheon. Sprinkling. The Mac Daddy Zeus.
Another short but sweet one.
I really like the aging on the shield already on his back.
Yeah. So it's a couple of the big gods from Mythic Battles, but we get a little look at each of them, and the shield itself does look fantastic. You've got that small amount of oxidization on it, as if he has just there's been a statue of Zeus somewhere that Zeus has decided to embody, because I can't imagine he would let his own armor
I need your
such
shield.
a dreadful.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Just statue explodes and he comes walking out of the fragments.
Or simply the statue comes to life.
But he made his own bronze paint via browns, some copper, gold metallics, and then used technical verdigris paints from GW. and try to use it sparingly. And I think it looks really good for it. Here, his snotty little brother. It looks,
I like the color of his tunic. Something different than the plain old white.
Well, imperial purple, after all. He is king of the underworld.
Ares. Loading. I feel like back in the day with my C64. Loading.
Do you want me to make the noise?
If I wanted to hear those noises again, I would simply go to my garage and get my C64 out of storage.
Show off the Commodore 64.
It's that I originally got for my 12th birthday.
I've still got both my Spectrum 48K and Spectrum 128K. Oh my lord, 80K upgrade.
Who's the show off now?
Get in.
No, but if you really want to hear these nice noises, you search on YouTube for the Flopotron. That's I think a Polish guy who uses multiple disk drives to create music.
I'm particularly fond of his Imperial March played on them.
The rattling of the drive heads is just great for this.
Yeah. But again, this seems to be another mostly contrast, or at least contrast to get big swathes of it done, which for a board game like Mythic Battles is very clever because there's a ton of miniatures in that. But they do turn out quite nice, even on those larger models. And the gold is cheating using Nasdrag yellow contrast and then a dry paint.
But is it cheating if you do metal with metal colors?
Oh yeah. Well, no, because that's a mixture of contrasty ink and a metallic.
Ah, okay.
So to get a almost non-metallic metal look from a metallic, it's very clever. I like it. At least it's not. At least Lorna, it's not another pube. We should have a pube counter. Just tally them up on a wall.
But the counter has to be the mutinous tutinous. Every time we encounter a pube on the mini, there's a mutinous tutinous riding across the screen.
And speaking of mutinous tutinous, here's Pan.
I didn't look.
I'm not checking.
Is he clothed?
He's got a loincloth. Don't worry.
In the right place.
Yep.
So there will be no hanging oysters.
Yep. I quite like his. It's very simple color schemes for them, but they're very distinctive, and they've all got a specific color coming through. So Pan, life, green, great. Hades, underworld, death,
red.
Theoretically not death, but purple. So the morning sort of robes. Obviously Zeus is white, king of the gods, and then Ares, Spartan, well, red. So war. It all makes sense. I don't know if that's repeated throughout the game, if you need specific colors to define factions, because if I remember correctly, it's a draft game. So while you do get bonuses for having Spartans with Ares, for example, I don't actually know if the factions are broke down that way. You don't have to, so I don't think you need to have specific ones, but you get a nice cohesive theme then.
I reckon there would be something like that. Otherwise, it still looks very cool and helps distinguish the minis. Yeah. I'm really curious what he will be doing with the bases for all of these.
Yeah.
Because apart from Ares, who did get a bit of paint on it, they're also white.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll find out in the not too distant future. Because it plays on a board game, on board tiles. Maybe he's going to try and mirror some of the texturing that's on those tiles. Because you've got outside elements and various sort of zones. Ares almost looks like he's standing on a map. It almost looks like there's a headland between his legs there as he's just sort of straddling like the Colossus of Rhodes. Yeah.
He's landing on the beaches.
I like it.
So, and the last for today is
Last one. Bat.
Na 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 na.
This is actually one of two. Spring Clean Challenge
Puntje.
From I can't remember how that's pronounced, and he did tell me.
Puntje. Puntje.
He's from the Netherlands, so the J is probably a hard H or something. Who knows?
I'd say it's Puntje.
Well, we'll go with that then. But
or Puntje.
he's doing. Okay. Apparently, we've got an explanation.
Puntje.
Okay. He's doing Infinity as one of his Spring Clean challenges, but he's decided to kick into the Batman miniatures game in a big way, as well as doing the Infinity stuff.
A tray of henchmen. That's literally a big pile of minis.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, they're all the same, but it's a board game. So, if you're looking down at a table and you're going, "Who's that?" He's in yellow, ergo he belongs to X faction, or he's got a red mask on him, therefore he belongs to the Red Hoods. It's what you want to see, but they stand out a lot better than the plain. I think they are just all plain grey colour, if I remember correctly from my unboxing. But he's done some of the heroes as well. I say heroes. Some people may call the villains. I really like Comic Book Bane, Roaring at the Sky.
And I really like the penguin. Looks a lot like the... Oh, what's his name?
Burgess Meredith.
From the series.
Original 60s series.
But also like...
Danny DeVito.
Yes, that's it.
That's why they keep me around. Yeah. Well, I think either because they both shared a very distinct look. Yeah. I think he's slightly more Batman 60s series than Oswald Cobblepot. He has at least colour in his cheeks. Oswald was practically a zombie. He was very greyish.
And then there's a T-Rex.
There is a T-Rex. At this, the minute I seen this, it was like, there's a T-Rex in that game? Why is there I know obviously there's a big T-Rex in Batman's cave in the comics, along with that giant penny. You always seen it in the background, but I never read any story where it appeared. So when I seen the T-Rex, it was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And he's done a really nice job on it as well.
Last time I read a Batman comic is 30 years ago or so.
That's probably about the last time I read one. I finished not long after Batman got his back broke and then fixed again. I went, well, that's me done now. But look, Army Painter spray.
That Tyrannus looks really nice.
It really does, doesn't it? For a Army Painter bone, null oil, a green shade over the top, and left the belly as it was. And then a layer of Waywatcher green, so as a glaze.
That's really...
It's
a really simple page up.
Simple, but very effective. And then take two on T-Rex, getting the jaws
important parts
and mouth done. I really like it.
I think he could... I don't know if this will... There's UV resin. Yeah, that's what I would have proposed, to use something that makes the tongue shine. When he used UV resin, maybe I would have simply used a gloss.
A gloss varnish, yeah.
Would have been more simple. Maybe use some glue to make some saliva.
Yes, break out the oohoo.
Best glue ever.
It really is. Don't worry, I have like 3 tubes of this in this drawer. I never want to run out of this. Always have it.
Keep it away from fire.
If fire gets loose in this room, that is the least of my worries. There's so many other things that will
problem is when
first.
If the tube catches fire, the stuff expands expansionally. Don't ask me why I know that. I've been young once. Oh, Jerry can, yeah.
No, I mustn't.
Things you
I'm
must
not
do
saying-
on your hobby. Set fire to your glues. Use your spray can as insect deterrent.
Jerry won't be joining us this week. We were doing that at a friend's house one day, annoying the spiders and that sort of thing. You know, as you do with an aerosol spraying. And then whenever he finished spraying the flames at the spiders, he looked down and it was still lit, even though his finger wasn't on it anymore, and it wasn't going out. Threw it
bad.
out the window. Out the window of the room, it just went chuck it out into the street and let it bang. Lots of things exploded at that point in our lives, and so one more bang in the street wasn't going to make a difference. I don't know if it tastes nice, Pete, but it smells fantastic.
I don't think you're supposed to taste it, but to each his own.
It's sweet like candy. That's a wee short one this week. I feel terrible that it wasn't longer.
It isn't that much shorter. We are almost at 90 minutes, so
just half an hour.
And let's face it, we had a very long, relaxing weekend.
That is true.
At least I had.
I put together quite a lot of tiny Persians and tiny Greeks. I don't know if you can see these.
Oh,
see
yes.
that?
That's a lot of minis. That's batch painting for you.
Oh, batch painting by somebody, not by me. I like the fact that I just have to clip them off their sprues and just go, right, that's that done. Now to learn how to play this Mortem et Gloriam game. I need to make some more bases at some point. Not right now.
Maybe you have one more minute, as I have discovered this Kickstarter you've posted on the front side, or rather Ben has. 71 miniatures in one fucking big...
One fuck off dragon, yes, from Blacklist. We're actually going to be talking to the fella, or one of the fellas, soon. I think it may be in this week's Weekender. The interview's being done tomorrow, but they're a company that does board games and stuff. But this isn't for a game. This is just literally
generic
role players. Here's some heroes. Here's a bunch of monsters in groups of 5, and then here's a dragon.
The thing is, I saw the number 71 minis and thought, wow, if these all were these single mold post minis, great. Scroll down a bit and saw, okay, the evil guys are just 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
But 71 minis, still a good value.
For $65, I don't know what that is in real money. But it's not terrible. But then it's whenever
that's below the average of the bones.
Yeah. But it's whenever you see that, and you're going, okay, they're quite nice. They're all decent. And if you back on the Kickstarter, you get a free dragon. You squeeze me? What? So I think the box is 70 minis, and then the dragon makes it 71, or maybe the box is 71 and the dragon makes 72 because it's not included. I don't know. But there's possibly below that, if you scroll a bit further down, you might actually see a 3D rotating version of the dragon as a render.
Nope.
No, just the doors and stuff. All right. Oh, might be on the Kickstarter itself then. But yeah, it's an interesting looking thing.
Sadly, when this is a US-based thing, there will be taxes and shipping making it utterly expensive again.
It'll go through the roof.
It always annoys me, seeing some great Kickstarters and then they're on the opposite end of the world and you see, okay, I will never get that.
Yeah, that's the set there I was talking about that Boris sculpted. So it's not HeroQuest, but HeroQuest.
The artist formerly known as not HeroQuest.
But literally at that point, for £190, which is more or less what you're paying for a second-hand copy of HeroQuest on Fleabay, you get the entire set, but they're all unique resin sculpts and look amazing. Oh my god, they look so good. Oh, sweet zombie Jesus.
Yeah, there's just not enough money in the world to have all the good things.
No, that is true.
And let's face it, the amount of stuff I have with my little budget is already overwhelming me. I wouldn't dare to think of what would happen if I had, let's say, triple the amount of hobby budget. I would drown in plastic.
I'm still, whenever that hits retail, because I think the second wave is just going out to backers now. So hopefully it won't be too much longer before that goes into retail. But I will be picking up certainly the 4 heroes from that Hero Quest set because they're just awesome.
Just to put them on the table at the next XLBS and to annoy Lloyd. Look, nice little minis. You could have them.
That's the best way.
Well, then I would say we call it a relatively early day. I think
Sorry, I'm going to close that Lichmeyer thing. Don't click on that link if you don't want to waste money on Quest. I don't even know why I put the link in there, folks. You definitely shouldn't look at that.
You definitely don't get a cut.
No, I don't. Unfortunately,
people should start hiring you as a target demography.
I tell you what, there are 3 kids next door, and I'm pretty sure at least one of them must have decent kidneys I could sell. So,
good times. So we await your updates, people, on your spring clean challenges, so that we have much more pictures to show and look at next week. I hope you had some enjoyment tonight. I thank Jerry for being here. I thank you all for enduring my terrible English accent.
Your accent isn't English. Your accent's German.
Don't tell them. They didn't notice.
Sorry. Don't mention the war.
Don't mention the war. Okay. Before this gets any worse, thank you. Good night, everybody. I will see you again next week, maybe